live with, again, I'm going to call him so many names tonight, but for right now, we're going to call him Theo, as it's Steve, MONSTA, Mack. What's up, Theo? How's it going?
Chilling, chilling. How you doing, Ray?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm ecstatic right now because, again, not only am I getting to talk to you again, I'm going to call you legend all night. I know you're going to tell me to stop. To a legend like you, but also it's a celebration night. It's a big night here because we're talking. Not only we're talking the huge card happening this Saturday, but we're gonna go through some memory lane here. Like I said, I have some surprises. If you guys been seeing the post, I tried to make sure I had some good surprises for Theo Mack tonight. So
I'm,
it's gonna be a
I'm
fun
all
time.
about it. I know you've got some good stuff, Ray.
Awesome, awesome.
I'm feeling a little funny because I had some dental work, as I was telling you,
Yeah,
this right, literally in 2 hours before the show, and this is all still very numb,
yeah.
and I feel like when I have my Bell's palsy attack. So
Uh,
if I Jim Ross a few things, I'm sorry.
no, it's all good. It's all good. As long as you're all good, that's it. That's all that matters.
I'm good.
So,
I'm good.
so it's awesome. It's awesome. Okay, so first thing I wanted to talk because again, it's 25 years. I wanted to talk a little bit about one of the first times I actually got to see you live. Because again, I grew up watching that JPW era. I got to see a lot of the stuff you guys were doing, but one of the first times I got to see you live was actually facing two guys that I call some of my best friends right now, and it was this match right here.
Ah,
So
those
with you and
two. I'm very proud of those two right now, especially
yeah,
Cassidy after
yeah.
last night.
Oof. It's funny. I was gonna download a clip because Keith threw him last night, but during that match, you guys gave him maybe
He hit
just a
the
little
ropes when we
farther.
threw him. Yeah, well, he hit the ropes when we threw him. But I think the AEW ring might be a little bit bigger than the House of Glory ring. But
Okay,
it's
so
all good. It's all
there
good.
you go.
It's funny because I've been watching Cassidy over the last few weeks.
Yeah,
He's been having a lot of great matches where he's making the guys that he's in there look great, and I really think because in that match that we had with him, I mean, to me, he was I think he was 18. I don't even think he was 18. He might have been 17, but he's very young and still learning the business. And to see him now, you could tell he's definitely comfortable being in the ring, comfortable being himself.
yeah,
And I think he needs now a good feud. I was gonna say against Sammy Guevara, but I guess they kind of did that a little bit.
yeah,
But someone along those lines to elevate him and make him feel even more confidence in himself. That way when him and Quinn start teaming up, I feel like they keep teasing that they're going to bring in Jeff to team up with Matt against them and stuff. So that should be good. But
yeah,
I want to see them do more stuff with guys like Santana Ortiz, Red Dragon, the the Hardys, the Young Bucks. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And just show their skill more because in that match that we had, me and Moff, I don't think anybody expected that match to be the way that it was, and that's one of my favorite matches in the last 10 years that I've had. And it
yeah,
was good to have people come up to me in the back and be like, "Yo, I'm sorry I slept on you," because it meant a lot to me. Everyone.
yeah,
I always feel like everybody's been sleeping on me my whole career, so to have that, come out of that, it means a lot. And then they got elevated, like because from that match on, they've just been stacking and stacking and stacking, and next thing
yeah,
you know, they're signed to EW. So
yeah.
I feel like that was a launching point for them too.
No, definitely. That definitely was one of those like I remember seeing that, and from there you could just see that rise. Like it just happened naturally, like from there. And again, especially facing you and Mac and Moff, it was like it just started something there. It got him that
Mm-hmm.
fire that they definitely needed. And again, you guys might have also humbled them a little bit there with a lot of the chops and lariats and all that. So
Well,
uh,
that's something that's kind of like the Hit Squad's calling card is,
yeah,
test you out and see if
yeah,
you're ready for the big time. And there've been a lot of guys before them that have been tested and passed and went on to bigger and better things. And then there have been a few guys that didn't make it and they fell off into obscurity somewhere. You know what I mean? So
definitely.
that's kind of like been me and Moss role the last 20 years.
Yeah. Speaking of which, again, like I said, I have some surprises here and something
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to bring up. Like you said, you guys did that for a lot of teams. One especially being the American Death Machines back in the day at JPW. So one of my
Mm-hmm.
favorite promos is this one right here. I'm going to play a little bit of it. and so everyone could see why this is one of my favorites from back in the day.
Cut your promo! I don't know! Finish! Who the fuck is your fucking promo? Sammy Callahan! You! Oh! Chris Dickinson! Holy shit! Who the fuck are you, Chris Dickinson? You shit! You think you're the man? You ain't shit, homeboy! I tell you right now!
Whoops, there we go.
That promo was a little crazy to say the least, and I always get people are like, "Yo, he's so fat that he fell out during the promo." No, what happened was I took a Balls Mahoney chair shot, and yeah, it was a pretty stiff one too, and I was selling the chair shot, like I was so hyped up, but then like the concussion came back. It was like, "Hey, remember me?" You know, but it is what it is. But yeah, that was a good, that whole nonsense piece of work was really good, and it was last minute too, because me and Moff weren't supposed to be teaming up. It was supposed to be me and Havoc, who passed away, rest in peace Havoc, but he had some outside issues that he couldn't make it, and Moff subbed in for him, and we were able to make some good stuff with Dickinson and Callahan, and just trying to add that next level of excitement and showing that emotion and how pissed off I was that they cost me the tag belts. You know what I mean? So
yeah, no, definitely. And it's one, like, even when I was talking to a few people about doing this and like how this episode was going to be, it's like you have to play the promo, because this is one we've shared so many times, especially between like the group, and it's like it's just so much emotion there that, again, that's what you want out of a promo. And again, it's something that still lives on. It's something, especially if you're getting into this business, keep watching that promo. See that natural emotion there. That, again, even with the condition, like you're saying, you had gotten your bell rung a little bit, but it still was enough that it's like it's selling that. It's selling that feud there. So that's awesome.
Then it's funny because you said the promo. Whenever anybody says the promo, all that ever comes into my mind is the Teddy Hart promo after Strong South Thugs beat him up. And I've had literally tens, dozens of people quote that promo to me line for line, everything from Teddy's part to my part. So like, I've been very fortunate that I've been able to be a part of in-ring action, outside of the ring, just all kinds of different aspects of this business. I've been a part of stuff that people remember. Yep. And so like when you said the promo, all I saw was Teddy Hart, homicide. I see you do the move a million times. Like stuff like that is, I've been very fortunate in my career to have stuff like that happen.
Definitely. I know and I feel like that's the best thing, because it's also, again, we're 25 years down the line as well, and it's still being relived to this day. Like, again, it's crazy to see. Those are the moments that's like, it's great to see it still lives on, and it continues, and it will continue too. Because again, our generation now, especially the ones that are, it's like everyone's like, "Oh, I remember this. I gotta share it around now." Because now everything's online. Now everything's like, it's shared in minutes. Like everything's out there. So that's always a great thing.
I always talk about the fact that when me, Moff, Key, Homicide, we were really doing our growing up in the business, there was no YouTube. So we got word of mouth through tape traders or just fans on message boards. But there was no actual video proof of what we did. So, as YouTube, not even YouTube, as like the torrent sites and like Kazaa and file sharing started to blow up. That's how we started to get out there, and clips of us started to get out there. And it's kind of crazy because, like, I was talking the other day, like someone said that the wall throw was one of the first viral indie wrestling clips ever. And like, to me, that's just like, how? Like, but then when I think back, I'm like, oh yeah, because the internet really wasn't the internet. It was just totally something else. And you forget how easy you have it when you have YouTube, where you can stream literally live within seconds of it happening. And it's definitely a different way of promoting yourself and getting your name out there, as opposed to us that we had to do it the hard way, the old school way.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, it's something like, even when I spoke with another Unc with Deshaun Pratt, that we're talking about. Now it's not the tape trades anymore. There's not LimeWire that's killing our computers. Now it's like, in minutes. Like even right now, we're on 4 different platforms at once, just from a push of a button. Like it's how the times have definitely evolved here. So it's definitely
Pretty
great for the
crazy.
business as well. Yeah, definitely. But okay, so I have to ask because of course it's something that I try to make sure everyone we ask everyone here. What does the craft mean to you, Theo? 25 years down the line, what is it as a represented for you?
So for me, professional wrestling is art. Professional wrestling is the ability to tell a story, to get those people to come and see you, but then once they see you, that they want to see more of you, that you entertain them so well that they tell their friends, man, I saw this. And like I've had it happen a lot of times where people are like, that other stuff, I watch it and it's kind of fake. But the stuff that I saw you do, there's no way you could fake that. And when I hear that, that makes me feel good that I'm doing my job right. And on top of that, it's showing the youngsters coming up, how to do the business properly. Because as long as you're doing that, then the business is going to be in a good place. But if you stay doing just for self, then it's not. It's always going to be in a downward spiral, and you don't want that to happen. I know I don't, because I'm closer to retirement than ever, and I just want to be able to watch wrestling and enjoy it, when I'm sitting at home, which is funny because most of my career, I was like, I don't want to watch. This is such garbage, but there would be a lot of, coming up, there's a lot of garbage on the indies. Now everyone, really took it to another level with being great athletes and great, talents minded, just like someone like an Anthony Gangone. Anthony Gangone, he can tell a great story and he can get you invested into something other than himself by him telling it, and to me, that's the part, it is a business. You have to sell certain aspects of it, but when you can do it naturally, where you're not selling it, they're just buying it no matter what, then you're doing an awesome job, and I feel like, that's the thing. It's a fight. It's supposed to be a fight. Anyone who's afraid of the word fight needs to get out of the business. I say it all the time. I'm all for inclusion. Everyone could do this. I don't care. Gay, straight, black, white, yellow, orange. I'm all for it. But if you're just doing it because you're gay, straight, black, white, whatever it is, then get out. You have no space in this business. This is for people who take this serious, because the risk that is involved with this, even though it's a work and even though it's, scripted or whatever it is, entertainment, every time you step in the ring, there's a chance that you could die. As crazy as it sounds, why would you do it? Because I love it. But when you understand that risk, then you treat this business properly. A lot of people don't understand that risk. So when they don't understand it, they're just careless and reckless and, I could do whatever, whatever. And then what happens is they're not the one that gets hurt. It's someone else who does have the potential, to make a lot of money or make a change in the business. And what happens then? You know what I mean? Especially with all the kids who now use professional wrestling to enhance their, social media status. There's a lot of those kids who are just looking for that quick, instant Kardashian fame.
Yeah.
This is kind of the wrong business to do that, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Which again, it sucks because out of that kind of group, there's always going to be that one that definitely has that love and respect for it, and it starts getting clouded around because it's like, okay, so who's in it for the right reasons? And again, could be a part of something like that. That it's like, it's the risk of, are they going to get injured facing one of these guys? Is just looking for what's going to go viral.
Yep, exactly. And listen, coming from me, that might sound hypocritical because I'm famous for throwing people into a wall. But in those days, even though, one guy did get hurt really bad and it was a pure accident. It wasn't anything, malicious or whatever. It was just an accident, But I took every precaution that I could. It wasn't just, hey, I'm just going to throw you. You have no say. I would always make sure, do you want to do this? Are you sure you want to do this? And then this is what you got to do, and let them know how to protect themselves and what to do and what not to do. And even before we would do the spot during the match, are you sure you want to do it? Yeah, let's go. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and I was going to say too, you could see it, like, at least there's that common ground of like, okay, this is flowing and it looks amazing. Because you could think someone that tries it, because again, we're in that generation now, everyone's trying to replicate some things you guys did. You would be able to tell, like, oh, they're just doing it for the clout now. Instead of doing it for, hey, let's make this still safe. Someone's going to get hurt trying to replicate this. Like,
I mean, look at all the bumps these guys are taking on the outside of the ropes on the apron. And now there is no give to that. And, they say it for a reason, and everybody's pushing it this close with the neck bumps. Every time they take one of those destroyers on the apron or to the floor or something like that, it's going to get to a point. I've seen people get paralyzed. There was a guy, he took, it was a pile driver, and he got paralyzed. He got carted out, and that's not a cool feeling to watch. That's something that is very scary. And then on top of that, not only might you not be able to walk again, but then you have mounting hospital bills and, the insurance for the wrestling goes up. So it's like, if you're not taking this serious and you're just doing it just to be a part of something, to be one of the cool kids or whatever it is, then you should probably leave, honestly.
No, definitely. And it is something like when I've seen those bumps, the first thing I do is I try to hold my neck because I'm like, the first thing you think is either that's going to be a stinger or it's not even good to see. Like, I get it. It's for the reaction, but it's like, it's just, I don't get it sometimes. But
well, and the thing is, like, look at the bump Sting took. Sting just took a buckle bomb, which, I mean, when you really think about it, it is quite dangerous, but Seth Rollins had been doing it for a while. To guys bigger than Sting, he was doing it safe. Just 1 inch just caused his neck to snap. You know what I mean? And he's pretty much done for a few years when he really should have had a longer run. All that money missed, all that time missed, for what? But again, like I said, if it comes off as hypocritical, I'm not trying to be hypocritical. I'm coming from experience. 25 years, you've seen and done a lot of things where you could see, like, oh, well, that's not safe, or that's not good, or that's not, worth it. It's all about what's worth the risk of you doing it, and certain things that really, the problem is there's no one to police wrestlers. Wrestlers just go, if there was somebody, to, hey, don't do this or don't do that, or this is why, maybe, things would be different, but there's no one. It's the independence. It really is a free spirited living thing. You could do whatever you want to do, whatever you want to do to make art. And that's going to be always the go-to, like, well, you can't tell me what to do because you did what you wanted to do and I'm doing what I want to do. And this is how I see it. And this is how you see it. And that's it, But at the same time, you still have to respect human life. You have to respect the fact that someone's there giving their body so that you could look good and telling this fake story that you created. There has to be that line, and a lot of the times it's getting blurred now because so many people are like, nah, we could do this, 450 Styles Clash off the top rope onto a pit of needles. And it's like, I'm good. I don't need to do all that,
No. Again, this is one of those that definitely less is more with those kind of things. But again, to show you guys, because again, we've mentioned it a few times already, to show you something that was safe and got the pop, let's show a little bit of the wall.
The wall?
Calling for the wall. I don't know how much more this wall can take without caving in. The hit spot have wasted you in the gorilla press position. Oh, Oh my God!
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
The wall shot heard around the world. It looks like Danny Drake's gonna meet it. He's off the ropes. Monster Mack has Danny Drake in the gorilla press position.
Oh my God.
Rogers, look out! Whoa! Whoa!
And there you go, guys.
That last one, that's the one that was the worst. And
Yeah.
you know, if you notice the first one, there was no padding.
Yeah.
The second one, there was padding. You know what I mean? Like, it was chronological in those first two. I think the third one was before we put the padding, and then we put the padding, you know. But you know, if you notice the first one, you could tell it was the first one that I really did, because he went straight into it with his shoulder and everything. Second one, you see them put their hands up, they push off, because all it is really, I mean, yes, a guy is being thrown 6 feet away, but at the same time, he's hitting that wall with his hands, you know, and when he does, it makes a loud thump. It sounds like the worst car crash. But then you add to that because he's pushing, it's making his body go down and his legs hit the wall so that he could come down and land on his feet rather than land on the side of his body on the floor, you know, 7 feet under. But, you know, there's things that we would do and try to tell them, you know, and we always tried to do our best to make sure everybody was okay, you know?
Yeah. No, definitely. And again, that's right there. You could see it. You could see how that was something that, again, everyone could say what it was. It's as crazy as it looks, but you guys at least made it so the person taking it as well felt safe enough, and they agreed to wanting to take something like that.
And like I said, I would always ask, and like I think there's maybe one or two guys. I know that there's one guy, Trent Beretta, that he said that he wanted to do it, but he really didn't want to do it. You know what I mean? Like, but we did it, and you know, things happened, and you know, everything changed. You know, but at the time, you know, wrestling was a lot different too. Wrestling really was, you know, the Wild West back then, and it was, you had to do what you had to do to get over. And like I said, we were young, you know, different time. Would I do it now? Not really. I mean, you've seen me at shows. I'll tease it because it's fun to tease if people remember, if they're calling for it. Yeah, I'll tease it. But for the most part, I am definitely not trying to throw anybody into walls right now. You know, it just something that's not needed. You know.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, at the last show we were at Catalyst, I was like, "There's a perfect clear wall right there." Now like there's also a commission that I'm like,
You're not the only one who said it. Trust me. There's a few people that were like, "Are you gonna throw him into the wall today?" I was like, no.
It was a perfect distance.
If it was Lance and he was healthy, Lance Lude, if he was healthy, I might have thought about it. But probably what I'd rather do is have people catch him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Last time Moff and I did the ball throw, we did it to Key, and we had a bunch of guys catch him. You know, and Key could handle himself. He knows how to control his body. But you know, we had guys catch him just because it was safer that way. You know what I mean? It was a cool visual too. You know, but. You know, just a lot safer to have guys catch and make it look like, you know.
Yeah. And even then, it's still like I remember seeing that match. It's still an insane visual because again, you're launching another guy in midair. Like it's still insane to see. Like no matter to the wall, to the ring, to a whole group of guys, it still looks and it's amazing.
Actually, I just remembered the last one that we did. It ended up being botched because we were doing it to MJF, and as we were running, I tripped on the canvas and I started to fall. So instead of him going out, he grabbed onto the rope. Thankfully, he did, and he went over like he was going to skin the cat, and then fell down. But because I tripped, I think my knee, like I was running, and I just hit Moss's leg a little bit, like I just bumped it a little, and made me trip on the canvas, and he almost died that day. So from that point on, I was like, yeah, no, we're good. We don't need to do it anymore.
I guess that was the sign of like, okay, it's time to put the wall down.
Yeah.
Or at least the launching of the wall down.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I mean, if someone else wants to do it, as long as they take all the precautions in the world, then sure,
Yeah.
why not? But there's no. I mean, so the guys and girls wrestling now are such great athletes.
Yeah.
Today that there's no need for it. Back then, me and Moff were bully thugs. We were bigger than most of the guys wrestling with us, and that just gave us an extra added advantage as far as what our characters were. But if we were like Homicide and small like that and we could wrestle, we wouldn't need to do it. We do other stuff.
Got you. No, definitely. But even again, like I said, to me, that was always a pop to see. Watching those clips back, it's always fun. It's always something that it's part of that history. It's 25 years, and it's still amazing to see and still talk about here.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah. But also again, I had some surprises here. These are some people that were also touched by your career and what you've done. So here's the first message from
Mack. I just want to say congratulations on 25 years of whooping ass in the ring. And I want to say thank you for always being an OG I can come to for guidance. And all this advice you give me over these years has really helped me grow. So thank you. Here's to many more years.
There you go. First up, Aaron Ash. He's definitely been one of those guys that I've seen like under your wing now. So it's always great.
He's definitely someone that if they were ever to reform the Hit Squad with new guys, he would be one of them. But he's great by himself. I see so much potential in him, and every time I can talk to him, I'm letting him know my thoughts on stuff that he can do to stand out more or just make a bigger impact, because I really do believe that if given the opportunity, he can do a lot of great things. I mean, he's just ridiculously jacked right now too. Like, if you see him work out, he's pulling up numbers, and I'm just like, damn, son, he's an animal. You know what I mean? So, I really will always continue to support Aaron Ash, and he's the nephew because, he's someone that I see a lot of myself in when I was his age. So
definitely. And awesome. It was a great pairing. Like, I remember when Matt and Ash were talking about the 6-man tag you guys were going to be in. And I was like, oh, that's going to be just the image right there. It's like, it's a modern day twist to the Hit Squad. And again, I encourage you guys to definitely go check out that match of Team Mack versus Team Loke, because seeing them, and again, Ash is a beast. Again, I can't say more about this guy because it's just, and like you said, what he's lifting, he's already jacked and huge, but he's still getting even bigger. And just, I just saw what he did over the weekend at CZW, and I'm like, and he's still so young in his career. That's scary, because
that's why I like him. I like him, and I like Boom Harden because they both are very hungry. They both work out together. They keep each other in check. And in wrestling, you need that. You always need that one person there to keep you in line, make sure you're doing what you got to do, make sure you're avoiding what you need to avoid. And, they have each other's back. And ever since the unfortunate passing of DK, I feel like they've gotten tighter, and kept accountability for each other more than ever. That was a big loss for them. And, I feel like that's kind of like the wake-up call. Hey, man, life is short. If we're going to do this, let's do this the right way. And they've been doing it the right way ever since.
No, definitely. And you can see that motivation there. That's what I always love about how in wrestling, especially when you're around good people like that, you start forming that brotherhood that they do. It keeps you like, oh, we're doing this together. Like, I'm going to make sure you're keeping going. I'm going to keep going, and we're going to do it. We're both going to make it. That's always great to see.
It's really good to see, and I'm glad that they are still able to have that spot with the CZW school remaining open. I know that a lot of people always want to shut things down because they hate DJ Hyde, and listen, DJ Hyde isn't a perfect person, but he's been providing a place for a lot of young talent to make a name for themselves for a long time. And, you could always get someone else to be the face of the company, but you got to be real. He's the one that's been giving them the opportunity, and whenever you want to shut down, somebody, you got to remember that there's a lot of other people that are being affected by what's being shut down, and I'm not giving him a pass. If he screwed up, he screwed up. Just like if I screwed up, I screwed up. You know, but he's still giving a lot of people a chance. You know, and a lot of people, they can't afford to go to another place, or there's no place that's close enough, or whatever the reason is, and they choose that place. Now, if they're choosing that place and they're sticking with it, you should think before you speak. This is for a lot of people. You know, it was very easy for a lot of people to, you know, call people out during the speaking out movement. Yeah, there's a lot of scumbags in wrestling. That's not a secret. That's been the case since before we were born.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You go back to the 1900s, they had to have shooters, guys who could legit fight, because there were guys who didn't want to do business the right way. There were guys who were famous that have always been into, you know, the teenage girls or boys that way. You know, that's just something that's been around since before. There's nothing we could really do other than keep the people that we are around in check. You know what I mean? If I'm your friend and we're a tag team and I see you doing drugs, I'm going to let you know, hey, stop doing drugs. You know, you should really focus on, if you need help, I can help you do whatever. You know what I mean? That's how it should be.
Yep.
You know? But if I don't know you and, you know, you're doing something, I'm not going to sit there and say, hey, you're a scumbag because you touched someone. I don't know your story, and I don't care, whatever. You know what I mean? Or like, you know, just whatever it is. People really need to think before they start going hard, you know, especially if they're not the person that got, you know, whatever it was by another person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. No, I feel like that definitely was the case.
There's going to be a lot of people. Steve Mack's a defender. He's defending all these assholes. But no, listen, I liked Joey Ryan before I knew how much of a scumbag he was. He's a scumbag. I don't talk to him anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I got you. And definitely it's one of those cases, like, it was even proven during that. A lot of the people that were talking straight to cancel someone, few of them came out to not be the nicest people either. So it's, again, before you point your sword, check yourself as well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's definitely one of the biggest. But or you should point your chancla, because again, we're gonna play another video here because we got another one of your nephews that wanted to send some love. So here we go.
Congratulations, Steve Mack, on 25 years in the business. You know, what can I say? For these 25 years you have been in the business, I've known of you for the beginning half of it. Now, for the past 6 years, I've had the honor and the privilege to be under your learning tree. Not only to talk about, you know, the wrestling business, you giving me feedback on my work and my character, but also talking about other things that life throws at us, like video games and everything. It's been an honor. It really has truly been. And I can only hope for more interactions, more time hanging out with you, you know, throwing ideas and, you know, you giving them back to me as, hey, how about you try this instead of doing like this? Like, that's the best thing I can say. As I like to call you, Theo Mack, as a lot of us do, because that's out of respect, because we know you're very wise when it comes to, you know, what we love. And we can tell that you're devoted and you love it and it's your passion, because you still are doing it for 25 years plus. So again, from your favorite, hopefully your favorite, awesome, chancla wielding, coquito dealing, badass, mad awesome. Much love, Theo Mack, and congratulations.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
I like Matty a lot because he's definitely one of the guys that, had the doghouse been around still, he would have been all up in there and he would have been one of our guys. You know, he's very creative. He takes the most of what he's given and makes, you know, the most out of it. And you know, I appreciate that hustle. And you know, there's not a lot of guys who do that. You know, and he's a lot of fun to be around too. He's definitely, you know, one of those guys that when you're having a down day, it's hard to be down around him. You know what I mean? He always brings up the room, and that's someone that I always, you know, enjoy having around for sure.
No, definitely. Matt's definitely one of those guys that it's not his gimmick is all fun and games, but it's like he's also that's him too. It's that fun. It's that tenacity of like, hey, why it's having a good time with being around. It's always great to have him around. He's one of those hermanos that we definitely once. It's always a convo. It's always a fun time. And when I was coming up with doing this, I was like, I gotta hit him up because every time we talk, we're like, "Oh, Theo Mack said this. We're doing this." Like, it's always great. So
That's awesome.
there we go. There you go. It's the coin name right there. He picked it perfectly. He knew that word was just always going to come out.
Yep. Awesome was always going to be around. So
there you go. Perfect. Let's keep it going here. And let's start talking this card because we have a lot to talk about coming this Saturday because it's going to be a big one. Again, they're celebrating you, and you can see your influence on this card a lot. There's a lot of influence. So let's start talking about MONSTA Among Men happening this Saturday at the Adrenaline Sports Academy. You guys are going to want to be there because this show is, I'm telling you, it was so great to be able to talk about it, which, again, if you guys haven't checked it out, go here as well, my breakdown on it, because I tried to talk as much as possible about this card because as I saw it getting announced by Titan, I was like, this is just getting better and better. And it gave me that those vibes of JPW days. And then with the card that's around it, it's like it really feels like it. So I can't wait to talk about this.
I know that, for Charlie and Billy, the old owner of Titan, the founder of Titan, I guess, and the current owner of Titan, they were huge JPW fans. I remember I met Billy back in 2000 or 2001 because he was around JP, and it's cool that because JP is such a big part of my life that with this show, even though they're celebrating me, I feel like I'm celebrating JP. There's a lot of guys that I met at JP or that wanted to be at JP while I was there, and I'm getting a chance to hook them up. But it really comes down to something that I always preach. I always try to give all the younger talent who are hungry and who are good enough to make it, take them and bring them to the next level. And for me, that's what this show is really about. It's about taking that talent, elevating them, and then elevating Titan so that way Titan could be the place like JP was for me to these guys. Since the closing of JP, it really hasn't been the same for me. JP was family, between Modtron, the guys who filmed in the back, Mark Clemson, the guys, that commentated, the office of JP, and the guys who were helping out. It's like it really was a family, and without that, it's kind of been missing up until Titan started. And it happened a little bit before Titan when the guys at Titan were part of SWF. You could tell that they really cared about the guys that were working for them. And when Titan started, they took the guys that they knew that were like family members, and we all worked together to make Titan into something. And I've been saying it for the last year. Titan is a place where you don't go when you're starting out. Titan is a place that when you're a rookie who has spent the last 3 to 5 years learning what you need to learn, when you're ready to become an indie guy, you go to Titan. It's the next step up. And then that's the place where the guys, the super indies, look at so that they can get their talent, And when you look at like guys like Rick Recon and Nikos Ricos, Ray Calitri, there's so many guys there who are on that cusp of becoming indie names that, and they've all been doing their best work at Titan, someone like a Blaze Haram who is known where he works, but outside isn't as known. But if you give him the opportunity to shine, he's going to get over. I'm such a huge fan of Blaze because it's not that he doesn't care. He is willing to put himself out there in a way to get booed, you know what I mean, that a lot of people are afraid to do. And I think he needs, every time he has a promo, he'll tell you, I'm always like cut. And he's like, oh, what happened? And I give him ideas. He's like, oh, okay, I didn't think of it that way. I'm like, yeah, dude, trust me. He redoes the promo and it ends up being a banger. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, I'm always trying to help out that way, and that's how it's always been with Titan from day one for me. My days of being anything, it's coming to an end. I'm not saying it's going to end tomorrow. I'm not saying it's going to end next month, but I'm just saying I see the light. I feel the light at the end of the tunnel a lot more than I did last year. And I know that for me, the transition to being in the back is just natural, but I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for me because I am going to miss wrestling. Wrestling is awesome. I love being physical. I love doing all this stuff. I came from an athletic background, even though I'm, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, the Hispanic version. But, I love wrestling and I love the physical activity. When I was in high school, I played baseball, basketball, football. I played tennis. I played soccer. I played everything that you could think of. I used to ride my bike, 12 hours a day, no problem. I was always doing stuff, and getting into wrestling, I always felt that brotherhood that was there with, team sports. And that's something that I feel with Titan, the guys in the back. There's been a big thing with SWF and, the old owner, and all this other stuff. None of that matters because at the end of the day, it's wrestling. I can still be boys with a TJ Marconi and an Astro Morales. They're still boys with me. We shout each other out. We say what's up. There's no contracts. It's independent wrestling. No one cares. If Rob Fury hit me up today, I talked to Rob Fury. I don't care. You know what I mean? I was always straight up with Rob. Rob never did me wrong. He always was straight up with me. The same way I talked to Rob, same way I talked to Billy. And it's happened before. I had to talk to both of them about some stuff, but I'm not afraid to. But I'm in a different place. So for me, it's different. But, I want people to understand, like, it is the indies. But at the same time, when you have a place like Titan that you could call home, you do your best there and you make sure that everyone gets a chance to see it.
Yeah.
For me, that's what I'm doing. I want to make sure that everyone sees, all the eyes are focused on Titan because this show easily is the best show that Titan on paper has put out before a show. Yeah. I can't think of anything that's come close to touching it. Every match, there isn't a match where you can be like, oh, that's a bathroom break. Nothing. And as long as COVID doesn't mess us up, we good.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I said it, especially on that indie perspective, I was saying this card, it's one of those things that, again, on the indies, you hear it so much like, oh, this card is all made of caliber matches. I meant it when I saw this card. Because, again, you feel it. You can see how structured it was and how great it looks. It's going to be something that, again, let's get into it because we got to promote this card here. We got to talk about how good it's going to be. Yes. But also, we got some comments in the chat. Matt Awesome says, Theo Mac, what's up? Sorry, Matt, we already played the video because we're trying to get everything out there. Again, we got some other surprises for Theo too, so we had to make sure he sees everything. So, again, thank you for the video, Matt. Well, let's get into it. Match number 1 right here. Let's talk about that Pure Rules match. Again, I love this idea here. I love having Pure Rules be a factor again in pro wrestling because it's one of the reasons why I started this podcast here with Respect the Craft because it's that back to basics almost style of like having that structure of wrestling there. So in seeing Preacher and Josh Adams in there, this is going to be interesting. Preacher ain't no slouch in there.
No, definitely not. Right now, if you ask most wrestling fans who are knowledgeable, not just about WWE and not just about AEW, but wrestling entirely, they're going to say one of the best wrestlers is the current Ring of Honor champion, Jonathan Gresham.
Yep.
The last 10 years, there has been, with the exception of Zack Sabre Jr., no better technical Pure Rules wrestler than Jonathan Gresham. Yep. Jonathan Gresham is one of my favorite wrestlers, and not just because we were cool and we talk. And when I saw Jonathan Gresham take one of my guys, Arcadia, and give him the best match ever at JAP a few years ago, right then and there, I said, there's nobody better than Jonathan Gresham right now. Nobody, and it's not because Arcadia is a slouch, but because he made Arcadia step up and become a better version of himself. And I haven't seen Arcadia look any less than he did that night. I haven't seen, he's gone up and up and up. And, that's all because of Gresham's influence, So when it comes to pure wrestling, I'm a huge fan of pure wrestling. I can remember the days of CM Punk and Homicide going at it for the, pure wrestling trophy and, all that good stuff. Yeah. I was there for that. I witnessed it. And last show, the 2-year anniversary of Titan, I got a chance to witness Josh Adams wrestle. Him and Killian McMurphy had a great pure wrestling match, you know. So I know what Josh Adams brings. He's a great veteran, smart and savvy. But at the same time, you talk about Preacher. Preacher is, very cunning. He's very it's hard to, it's like Bobby the Brain Heenan, like how smart he was, but he was almost genius level, you know what I mean, above everyone else. And Preacher's the same way, Preacher, for whatever you want to say about his age, he doesn't wrestle like his age, know, and this is going to be one of those matches where I think everyone's going to be like, at first they're going to look and they'll be like, and then they see it and they're like, oh, okay, that's what's up, and that's, if that's the worst that happens, then I think we'll be great.
No, definitely. And I feel, and that was something like, again, on paper, you look at it, you're like, okay, it's a pure wrestling match. And again, I get it. Maybe not, it's not everyone's cup of tea because they like that, that fast paced style. But trust me when I say this, and I said it on the indie perspective, it's one of those matches that could really steal the show. Because Josh, I saw what he did the last show with Killian, and I saw how, again, he's almost like flipped the switch a bit. He's starting to lessen that almost violence character, and he's making this important. He's making that pure wrestling style important again. And I'm like, okay, with someone like Preacher, again, another vet, another very methodical guy in that ring, it's going to be great to see those two touch on Saturday.
It's hard to say pinpoint like a definite winner because both of these guys could take this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I like to see in my wrestling matches. You don't know who's going to win. You know what I mean? You can't tell who's going to win because it could go either way.
Yeah. And it's so much better like that because you don't want predictable matches. You don't want to see something that's like, okay, yeah, we know this is going to happen and that's it. It's like with this, it's like, again, who can get that upper hand? Is it going to be Preacher getting that methodical, like he's going to know when to step ahead? Or again, Josh is he's getting that pure style. He's getting in that mindset. Maybe he's practicing a little more than Preacher's thinking. So again, it's all that and it's great to see. But again, some more matches we got to talk about and cover here. So let's talk about some gold because there's a lot of gold on that night. Let's talk that women's championship. Wait, no, excuse me, the Goddess Championship.
Goddess, don't make the mistake I made. I made the mistake twice. The women's. No, it's not the women's, you idiot. It's the Goddesses Championship.
I feel like that's always going to be the thing because it's like, again, we know who's competing for it, but again, for its proper respect there, the Goddess Championship, as it will be Riley Shepard with AJ Pan in her corner taking on JC Storm, which to me, this is great to see because I've gotten to see JC grow as far as her career because I got to see her in her original training. Now hearing who she's training under is just showing how much she respects her craft. Because again, training under Damian Adams, that's a step right there.
That used to be an old tag team partner of mine, Damian Adams. We used to team up in Philly for 3PW back in the day.
Okay.
And Damian's someone that, I can remember in the spring or summer of 2015, him introducing me to his girlfriend at the time, but one of his students, Deanna Perrazzo, and she's another one that a lot of people call the best in the world, male or female or none currently, and she does that technical style. And Damian, how many of his women that he's trained have gone on to do stuff on TV or have contracts on TV? There's a lot right now, and not just like here and there. It's high profile stuff. Yeah. And he's definitely no slouch when it comes to training women. So while I haven't seen as much of JC Storm, I expect a lot because of where she's coming from.
Yeah.
Now, having said all that, Riley Shepard was at AEW and performed last night. Yeah. So she is coming off a super high. You know what I mean? When you get called to perform for for TV and you go back to indies, she's going to feel a little something. She's going to be like, kind of like, I'm hungry. I want more. At least I know that's what happened with me,
Yeah.
But I feel like she's going to be a little bit of, let me show that this is my turf. I've been wrestling for Titan. I've been feuding with Vicky for the last 6 months, year, whatever it's been. I'm the one that's been putting in the work. Let me show you how it's done here. I feel like that's how her attitude is going to be with Storm. And I feel like, the last 2 or 3 matches I've seen Riley in, I've heard harder hits in her match than I've heard from most of the guys throughout the whole show. You know what I mean? Ooh. And I'm talking like, when you could hear that bone on bone, it's been like that. So I have a feeling she's going to leave Storm a little bruised up. But again, JC Storm is training under Damian Adams. So, if she's worth any weight in salt, she's going to give her a good fight. You know what I mean? So there's another one where really there's no like definite way to answer who's going to win.
Yeah. And again, when I did the indie perspective on this, I was like, I want to be a little biased towards Storm because, again, I've gotten to even be around her original training as well. And I've seen how committed she is. But when I started thinking about it, again, Riley, she is great in that ring, great athlete, like you're saying, even that strong style of hers. But then you add AJ Payne to the mix, that's another element right there. Again, that outside
side for her, though. He's definitely been bringing out that mean streak in her. And to be honest, I'm pretty sure it was there this whole time. She just was hesitant to let it out, whereas he was just like, nah, I got you. Come this way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And AJ does that with a lot of people. AJ does that with a lot of people because he's done it with guys like with Azrael and Mike Law. Like he's no stranger to being like, oh no, I see the dark side in you. That's it. They're coming over. Like, so that's another one again. And it's great because a match like this, again, when it's a championship match, you don't want it to be predictable. You want to be on your feet. And this is another one. Again, like I said, main event caliber matchup right here. So you're not going to want to miss that on Saturday. And you're not going to want to miss any of this. So definitely take your bathroom breaks before the show starts. If there's an intermission, run because you're not going to want to miss. There you go. Well, let's keep it going here because we have another. This one I kept saying is going to be a hard-hitting one because we got Frankie Picard here against Ben Castle. I've been hearing what these two are saying about each other, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be a fight on Saturday. This is going to be one that I said, if you're coming with kids, make sure they're ready for what they're about to see because this is going to be a fight.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be one of those where they push the limit a little bit. And, I actually called out Frankie this week. I've known Frankie a long time. Frankie is someone that I enjoy talking to. I enjoy watching him wrestle. But I think with Frankie, he's at a crossroads. I feel like with Frankie, he's not sure if he wants to go up or go down. I think the complacency is starting to set. And when he's that young, that's something that's hard to get over no matter what. So you don't want to see that settle in. And, I told him, I said it. I don't like the picture that he has. He's smoking a cigarette. There's always a bad – listen, people smoke pot, they smoke cigars, they smoke all kinds of stuff. No matter what, if you put a cigarette in your mouth, you're looked at as something negative right away. And to me, that's a statement about him and how he's feeling about himself. And I feel like he needs to step it up because Ben Castle, he really hasn't made a name for himself just yet. He's still new on the scene, trying to get his footing. And he wins, he elevates his position. He loses, he doesn't lose any position because he's at the starting point. You know what I mean? Frankie Picard, though, on the other hand, he needs to win this match to me. He needs to elevate his status because once you start staggering and floundering, you can only go down. And you don't want that. He's way too talented for that to happen, and hopefully he steps up. I mean, either which way, I do think that this is going to be a really good match. I know that Ben has been doing his hardest to train. He's a very respectful guy. I see him all the time in the locker room, and I think that he's a student who will get very far in this, future as far as wrestling goes, as long as, he stays straight and narrow and doesn't do what Frankie does.
Definitely no. And that's, again, it's one of those things of with Frankie, it's like, again, it has everything to lose. So that's a dangerous thing. When you're at that point that you're like, you're starting to see it's a sink or swim situation. You're going to be willing to do whatever it takes. And then with
Yep.
Ben, again, it's stepping up to the stage here, and it's like he has nothing to lose but everything to gain. So that's another dangerous situation. So
It
again,
really is.
a bust on Saturday, you're not going to want to miss that. So definitely another match to check out. This one I've had my eye on because this again, it's showing like you were talking about earlier. It's that new generation stepping up to the plate, but also it's a little bit of that JP flair and that veteran flair. As we're talking flip the cards here. Where is it? Where's that matchup? One sec. So sorry about that. Trying to make sure we get everything out of the way first before. Okay, we're gonna go back to that because I have the graphic ready. But we're gonna talk the Open Challenge first.
Yep.
So we're gonna talk the American Hardcore Championship on the line here. How do we describe Merck for the fans at home?
Well, Merck is someone after the last show where he wrestled Low Life Louie.
Yeah.
Low Life Louie is one of the toughest guys that I know. He may not sound like it, he may not look like it, but you can literally drive a semi-truck over Louie and Louie will get up and say, "Is that all you got?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Louie, he can take a shot and, just laugh at you. And Merck was able to withstand, all of that. They had a great match, actually. It was a really, really fun match to watch. And he did take a lot from Louie, but he was able to get up and hold on to his title, which is something that nothing to sneeze at. You know what I mean? Louie is, Low Life Louie is the man, if you ask me. But he put out this open challenge, feeling confident. You should feel confident after a win over Low Life Louie. Now the problem is it could be anybody. You don't know who it is, and it's hard to not let your overconfidence get the best of you. But with Merck, I think Merck is ready. He's got that military training. That's legit, real stuff. And you're ready for anything if you're in the military. Doesn't matter what branch you're in. You're always ready for anything. So it's going to be kind of hard to overcome that advantage, that mindset. He's definitely willing. When he won the title, he had an insane match with Wailing Cage where, he pulled out all kinds of stops, including jumping off a 20-foot ladder. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that, Merck is willing to do. So it should be a good match.
Definitely. Again, that's that. When you bring up the military there, that's battle tested. So going into a hardcore style match like this, it's going to be something that there's nothing you could do to this guy that he's probably not already just gone through a million times worse. So, and then the open challenge element, again, it's always the greatest thing in wrestling because it's one of those things like it's expect the unexpected there. I give my opinion. I said, you never know who it could be. I was thinking maybe that Notorious 187, that Hall of Famer that just went in a few weeks ago. Homicide. You never know. Because again, I started thinking about.
I've got a lot of friends. You just said expect the unexpected, and I shot it out the SAT. So, you know what I mean? I got a lot of friends.
No, and that's exactly why. Because I started thinking about it. I'm like, who could it be? Because I can imagine a lot of people are going to be there Saturday. A lot of people from those 25 years. So you never know. And I even said this. Merckx might be that confident that he's like, hey, he'll take on all comers. Who says it's just one person that goes through that apron on Saturday? That's like, hey, more than one person wants a shot at that championship right there. So again,
and
my
you know
opinion,
what's the crazy part? Honestly, I don't want to know until it happens. Like, this is the one match that when they said it was an open challenge, I was like, okay, don't tell me who it is. Let me be surprised. Because it could be anybody. It could be Moff that shows up, or it could be my old trainer Lathon, Tower of Torture, or it could be anybody. There's been a lot of guys who wrestled for Titan over the last 2 years. It could be any one of those guys. It could be somebody from JP. It could be, like you said, Homicide. It could be anybody. So I kind of wanted it to be a surprise to me as well, because I feel like that's the best way to handle things. You know what I mean? Like,
no, and that's the great thing too, because that's going to be a genuine pop for you to be able to see that. So that's awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. So hopefully I'm pretty sure they got somebody good. I can't imagine that There's just some bum off the street that's showing up, But
It's when they tell you that night, it's like, hey, so Theo, you're double booked. You're gonna do the
Yeah.
open challenge too.
you're gonna wrestle in the open challenge match. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks. Thanks for celebrating me and my life. Fuck my life, right?
No, but definitely. And again, that's the greatest thing. I feel like I mentioned Lathon too, because again, you never know. And again, with this being that monumental night, that would be the craziest pop there, especially for those diehard fans of the Tri-State Indies. That would be an insane sight. Again, a homicide, a math. You never know. You never know who could show up. And that's one of the best things to feel. Because again, that truly is expect the unexpected. So, but now I finally have the graphics set up. Here we go. We mentioned them already when we started talking about this. Let's get into Low Life Louie versus Chris Barton. Because this, again, it's that perfect, again, the vet versus the up-and-comer here. And it's another one that both men are hungry here. Like you said, Low Life Louie coming off, again, a loss here, but always looking to prove and always looking to show why he's one of the top of the game. And then Chris Barton, I said this about Chris. I was saying on this night, he can't be El Único. He has to be the Bushwick Beast on Saturday. Because if not, if you're going in with that kind of fun mindset against Low Life Louie, you're getting demolished on Saturday.
Exactly. Chris Barton is someone that, again, we talk about the doghouse. Chris Barton respects the doghouse and all the guys that came from it. And if it was still around, he definitely would have been one of the guys, doghouse guys.
Yeah.
I think with Chris Barton, he wants it so bad, though, he's willing to go through anything. And, so that's why I said, I was like, you want to be doghouse ready? Put you in there with Low Life Louie. If you can survive Low Life Louie, then, now no one could ever doubt you.
That's a nice test right there, Theo. Like, just like, hey, here you go. Like,
yeah, you want it? Be careful what you ask for.
Oof.
You know what I mean? But Low Life Louie is coming off of a loss to Merck.
Yeah.
When these two locked up at the Battle Royal, the Mount Olympus Rumble, there was a huge pop, and Louie actually eliminated Chris Barton, which I was surprised. I was like, oh, you know what I mean? Because Low Life Louie, he has his moments where, he's not 100% into what he's doing. That's what happens with life. Life, we could have the best thing going on and we don't appreciate it because we're so into whatever else is bringing us down.
Yeah.
And Louie, there have been times where, I've seen him at his best, I've seen him at his worst, and but when I see him do stuff like go toe-to-toe with Chris Barton and then eliminate Chris Barton single-handedly, like Chris Barton's a big dude. It's not like he's a little dude.
Yeah.
And we single-handedly eliminated Chris Barton. That was super impressive to me.
Yep.
And I am pretty sure it impressed the guys at Titan as well, that they saw how Louie was feeling, the reaction Louie got, and they're like, all right, let's bring back Louie and keep on doing some work.
That's awesome.
It's one of those things where for both guys, they need the win. So it'll be interesting to see who's able to dig deeper and pull it out.
Definitely. And that's, again, it's going to be great to see. And like I said, seeing both of those guys, that hunger is there for not only Louie, but definitely for Chris. And again, it's the showtime for Chris. Can he withstand it? Can he get in there and show why he's that hungry and wants to prove it? But also, we got some people in the chat. Bob Culture saying so much handsome on the screen. Looking forward to see you Saturday, gents. Thank you, Bob Culture. Shout out to Bob.
I'm trying to get out to commentary and commentate a match with Rob.
that would be a good thing to see. I've seen what Rob's doing, and he's another one that's definitely been studying the game. I love to see that when you have that interest and that respect for this craft of professional wrestling. That's always great. Yeah. But he's spoke about
one that asked me for it, I gave it to him, so he's been doing good with it since.
That's awesome. But we spoke about Louie's match. Got a little thing over here. We're just gonna play. I don't know what it is. Let's see.
25 years. 25 years is a long time to do anything, to be part of anything. man, it's a lifetime. And for the past 25 years, you've done it your way. You've traveled the world, wrestled overseas, battled some living legends, and been part of some great moments. Steve, Mack, brother Steve, I love you. I appreciate you. I thank you. We started this journey together, and for 25 years, you've done it your way. And I wish you nothing but continued success. 25 more, who knows, man? Anything's possible, but hopefully you are blessed with as many more as you want. And again, without you, I don't think I'd still be around. Your motivation years ago helped bring me back, and I will be eternally grateful for that. So I thank you, I love you, and I am honored and blessed and thankful that I am part of your 25-year anniversary show. Thank you, Titan Championship Wrestling. Thank you, Steve Mack.
And there we go.
That was awesome. If it wasn't for Louis, none of this probably would be happening. Louis was the one that was running a company. It's not a company. It was just a bunch of guys that were going to, a church that had a ring indoors. Otherwise, they'd be doing it out back, someone's backyard, just like a lot of other guys. It's called IWW, Insane World Wrestling. And, he saw how much, we went to high school together and we had known each other. I mean, I can remember Louis walking around the high school with a Jansport that had Hulkamania airbrushed on it. You know what I mean? And that's how we became friends. We started talking through wrestling. And, Louis invited me and Loki down. He knew that we love wrestling. We were athletic enough to do it where we weren't going to kill each other. But, and that was pretty much, the start of the insanity, and I'm very grateful to have Louis in my life. He's one of my best friends, my brother, legit. There's not too many more people that I love more than Louis, and I'm forever grateful and honored to have met him and spent as much time as we spent. And, I hope that, when it's all said and done, that we can sit together and we can laugh about all the nonsense and enjoy and tell the greatest stories, maybe do a podcast or two together and just tell some of the insanity we've seen together, but I love Low Life Louis and forever grateful and thankful for him and his family.
Awesome. I know, definitely. That's something, one of these days when everyone's ready and free, we got to do one of those, just tell all the stories on one of these. That would be an awesome episode right there. And it would just be me, just like this, like a little kid again in the candy store, like I wouldn't ask a thing, just like, here you go, guys, just talk. It's recorded.
When a few years ago, maybe about 10, 15 years ago, Jersey All Pro started out doing, they had a podcast and they had me as one of the hosts. And when New Japan teamed up with Jersey All Pro to do a couple of shows here, I interviewed MVP. And MVP I've known for a long time before that. We'd been friends before he was with the WWE. And so we were talking normal and he felt comfortable with me. But at the same time, I was like, bro, what was it like to have Ric Flair's last match at Madison Square Garden? He was so cool. Like, it was like, it just awesome. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that no matter how big you are, if you're humble and you're respectful, you could always have those great moments and share them and, know that they're appreciated by so many other people, and that's something that's always going to stick with me, pro wrestling. I would say that in my life, I don't feel like I was ever destined to be anything special. I don't feel like I was ever destined to do anything great. I was fortunate enough that I got into wrestling. I didn't sell drugs. I didn't do drugs, but it could have easily been the other way around, or worse, end up in jail or dead. And, I avoided that because of pro wrestling. Guys like Fat Frank and Bobby Lombardi, rest in peace to both of them, who gave me a chance to be a pro wrestler and get paid and travel and see the world, to do this stuff with my friends. And, how many people know what it's like where you and your family and your best friends are all in another country doing what you love? Because I know what it's like. I had on one tour, Big Japan. It was me, Homicide, and Moff. We were working for Big Japan on the same tour, the same week. Loki, my cousin, he's in New Japan or Zero. It was either New Japan or 01. I forget which one. I think it was 01.
Yeah.
But he was there, and we were all on the island together. And then at the same time, you had the SAT. Brian Danielson, American Dragon. He was another one that we were all boys. All of your friends were all in Japan. We're not even in our own home country. We're in a totally other side of the world. And I know what that's like. And that's one of the coolest things that I'll always carry with me until I can't remember anything anymore. Because, I know not a lot of people know what that's like. And I've been very fortunate and blessed to have that, and I'm forever grateful to everything that pro wrestling has given me.
Awesome. No, definitely. And it's one of those things I think that's why hearing the stories you tell and hearing how much love you have for this business and still have and are willing to give for others as well. It shows that you definitely it's appreciating all that, appreciating the moments, appreciating the years, and it's great to see.
Homicide always yelled at me, "You're too humble. You got to be selfish." And I'm like, I can't be selfish. I don't know how to be selfish. There's certain things I can be selfish with, but when it comes to wrestling, it's just natural for me to teach and make people better, or at least show them how to be better, because that's just something. It's something that I love, and like I said, when I'm not doing this anymore, I want to be able to appreciate it and watch it and love it the same way that I do now. Same way when I was a kid. And there's only one way that happens, and that's by showing them and teaching them.
Definitely. But also, shout out to Smiley in the chat. What's up, brother? Thanks for checking us out here. He's another one of those hungry guys. Yeah, well, here we go. Let's keep it going because we have another amazing matchup here. Tag titles on the line. I can imagine you have a lot to say about this one here. So let's get into it. It's Ransom. It's PJ Savage against Ross and Bradley here. PJ and Ransom, the inaugural tag team champions for TCW, and PJ and the Takeover. They've been watching you a little too much here, from what I'm seeing. Like, they have some words for you. I hope he's ready for his match and not just like he's worried about you that night.
Why are you so obsessed with me? PJ Savage is someone who reminds me a lot of me coming up, very hungry and willing to break the mold for what's expected of him based off looks. When you see PJ, a lot of people think, oh, he's just going to be a big man and lumbering or whatever, but he's not. He's very athletic, very talented, very gifted, talks a good promo. He's got a lot of the package. He just needs more experience, as far as, him and Ransom, the last few shows that I've seen them team up, they've been doing damage everywhere they go. And that's what's up. That's what it's supposed to be. I feel like with Ross and Bradley, they're doing the same amount of damage, just in a different place. They're doing it over at H2O and other places like that. And this is like their chance to shine, This, I feel like, is going to be one of those where it's just grenades are going to be thrown all over the place. Bombs are going to be hit, and it's going to be last man standing, Yeah. And I'll be honest, I was the inaugural Titan Championship Wrestling champion, and I loved having that belt. But then I saw the tag belts. I was like, oh, I love these belts. They look awesome. And I really wanted to have a partner that night to, take on whoever was going to be the champs, because I really wanted a shot at them. PJ is starting to get his due, him and his boys, and this is again a stepping stone for them. If they can pass this challenge, then what's next for them? And then for Ross and Bradley, this is them coming into a newer territory. Where they can make a really big name for themselves, make a really big impact. Either which way, like I said, I think this is just going to be, a tennis match where they use a hand grenade instead of a tennis ball.
Definitely. I mean? This is going to be one that I said it, like, watching both of these teams, it's a fight. No matter how you look at it, it's going to be a fight. Ross and Bradley coming in, this is a new territory here. They're looking to make a mark. They're looking to claim some more gold because I've seen what they've done in H2O. They dominated over there under Tremont. Coming here, they're looking to make it this stage theirs. And again, PJ Savage has been talking the talk. Let's see if he goes against someone that's as equal to that Ferocious there, what he can do. So this is going to be interesting to see.
Is there any way that we could pause this real quick?
Oh, yeah, no problem.
All right.
We'll be right back.
Because